Justin Bai's canary is throwing a tantrum again. He handed me the divorce papers. Sign it. It's just an act to calm that little girl down. I gripped the edge of my dress tightly and nodded. I signed my name in silence. As I left, I overheard one of his friends joking, "Your wife is way too obedient. If you told her to sign the divorce papers, she'd do it without a word, wouldn't she?" Justin lit a cigarette with a smirk. "Wanna bet?" They wagered that within a month, at the registry office, I'd be standing there crying like a fool and still doing whatever he told me without protest, exchanging our marriage certificate for a divorce decree. Phone in hand, I didn't respond. I only replied to the message I had just received. What if you just married me? Would that be so bad? All right. Chapter 1. What? The reply came almost instantly. I turned off my phone. Inside, their laughter echoed as if nothing had happened. If your wife is that obedient, drinks are on me next month. 3 months, Justin added calmly. Deal, deal. Laughter filled the room. Disoriented, I hurried out. And it wasn't until I crossed the building's threshold and the sunlight pierced my eyes like needles that the tears began to fall, one after another. Justin Bai had fallen for a girl who hadn't even finished college. He bought her an apartment in City Hall, a luxurious place filled with designer brands and expensive gifts. But she wouldn't let him kiss her. Not even hold her. She lived in a 360-square-meter penthouse, dressed in haute couture worth hundreds of thousands, chin lifted proudly as she declared, "I won't be the other woman." Justin was enthralled by her. This was already the 3rd time he'd put on an act just to entertain her. The first time, he pretended to be in love with me. I didn't even know Helen existed back then. Happily, I posed with him for photos, laughing without suspicion. He even posted a collage of 9 pictures. I eagerly refreshed the page, waiting for the likes, but no matter how many times I refreshed, I never saw them. Later, I found out he'd set it to visible only to Helen. The second time, he argued with me, left me crying alone in the middle of the street, took a picture of me like that and sent it to Helen. See? I told you. She can't leave me. The 3rd time, he asked me for a divorce. My phone vibrated in my hand. I checked it. Really? Are you serious? Selena. I calmly wiped my tears and smiled softly. I'm serious. Chapter 2. That afternoon, Justin actually took me to the Civil Affairs Bureau. On the way, he was in unusually high spirits, asking where I wanted to go to celebrate our 3rd anniversary. Justin and I had grown up together. This was our 3rd year of marriage. How about Prague? You've dreamed of feeding the pigeons in Prague Square since you were 7, he said with a smile. He got out of the car, opened my door, and unbuckled my seatbelt. TSK, have you been crying? He frowned and gently brushed the corner of my eye with his fingertip. I told you, it's just acting. It's just a little canary. I'm curious when she'll lower her head. As he spoke, something fell from his pocket, a box of condoms. Justin cleared his throat and rubbed his nose awkwardly. He said nothing more and accompanied me inside. Everything was quick and smooth. I have aphasia. In front of strangers, the words just don't come. But I can nod or shake my head. Is this a voluntary divorce? Yes. I nodded. Do you confirm the irreparable breakdown of the marriage? Yes. I nodded again. 1 month reflection period. Come back in a month. Justin took the receipt. We hadn't even left the building before he'd snapped a photo and lowered his head to type a message. As always, the reply came quickly. It was from Helen. Justin Bai sent her the photo of the receipt along with the words, "Happy now? Get yourself ready for me tonight." I opened her profile and blocked her without hesitation. Just as I finished, I received a text message with an e-ticket for flight, followed by an Instagram message. I've bought the ticket. In a month. See you in City F. Chapter 3. That night, I dreamed of Justin again. As a child, Justin had a honeyed tongue. Selena, your eyes are so beautiful. Can I always look into them when I talk to you? Selena, you play the piano so beautifully. Can I come listen to your concerts every day? Selena, you're my favorite person. When I grow up, I'm going to marry you. And the truth was, I liked Justin too. We were always desk mates. After school, we played until dark. Even when my parents died in that car accident, I was in his family's car, playing rock, paper, scissors with him. But the cars were too close together. I saw with my own eyes as a truck barreled across the road. Boom. My father, my mother, my brother, even my puppy I'd raised since I was a baby were all trapped in the flames. For a long time, I couldn't make a sound. I could only sleep if Justin was beside me. Back then, he had infinite patience. He helped me practice speaking again, told me stories for hours, entire nights. And if anyone dared call me mute, Justin would punch them without hesitation. Marrying him felt inevitable. The day after I got my college diploma, he leaned against my bed at dawn and said, "Selena, shall we get another certificate?" That very day, we became husband and wife. In my dream, the room was covered with red roses like fire. Justin knelt on the bed and kissed me with infinite tenderness. "Selena," he whispered, "we'll be this happy for the rest of our lives." But when I opened my eyes, everything was black. I groped for my phone. Another message from Helena photo. A messy bed. A red stain. My stomach churned. I ran to the bathroom with dry heaves, but only tears came out. Physical, mechanical. I ended up hugging my knees, sitting on the cold, tiled floor. I don't know what I touched on my phone, but in the middle of the night silence, a deep voice rang out. "Selena?" My heart skipped a beat. I grabbed the phone with trembling hands. Foo Alex. Chapter 4. Alex was my recovery partner. After 3 years of intensive therapy, my aphasia had greatly improved. Nowadays, I only lose my voice when I'm extremely upset or nervous. During the first 2 years of marriage with Justin, I had almost fully recovered. In high spirits and with plenty of free time, I joined a support group for people with speech disorders. That's where I was assigned a companion, Alex. For almost 2 years, I thought she was a girl. Her profile picture was a pink bunny. Her Instagram name, Angel. At first, she barely replied. But those of us who carry the same wound can recognize each other. People living with aphasia often have deep traumas. Maybe they can't speak, but they still need companionship. I never got tired of writing to her, sharing my daily life through texts, voice messages, photos, and videos. Over time, we became like lifelong friends. And when we finally spoke on the phone, and I discovered that she was actually a man, I was so startled I nearly relapsed. Sorry," I whispered, clutching the phone. "Did I wake you?" "No," Alex replied. "It's 9 at night here." I was surprised at how fluently he spoke. It was only our second call. After discovering he was a man, I began to keep my distance. That day was pure coincidence. I hadn't spoken in almost a month. Right after Justin handed me the divorce papers, Alex messaged to ask what I was doing. My mind went blank at that word, divorce. I could only reply, getting divorced. After signing, I stood outside Justin's office trembling. "Alex, I think I'm about to be homeless. No dad. No mom. No brother. Not even my puppy. And now, not even Justin. What do I do now?" I never imagined he would respond so directly. "Then marry me." "Why not?" Inside, the mocking laughter grew louder. "Don't be ridiculous. If Selena leaves Justin, she won't even be able to speak. How's she going to sign the divorce?" "Exactly. She'll cry so much the registry office will collapse." "Really?" Justin let out a disdainful laugh, tossing his lighter onto the table. "Even if she cries like a dog, she'll still be my dog. If I tell her to crawl east, she will." Frozen, I stared at the man through the crack in the door, the man I no longer recognized. All right. Chapter 5. Alex made me a list. A list of essential tasks for the next month. Paperwork like getting a visa or finding a lawyer was on it, of course. But what surprised me most was the other part, a long list of restaurant names and addresses I had to try. The food in City C abroad is terrible. Really. I accepted gladly and began crossing them off one by one. I discovered that living alone wasn't so unbearable after all. Eating, shopping, packing. The day I moved out of the house we'd shared as husband and wife, Justin messaged me. Not a single call. "Didn't you miss me?" He was traveling with Helen, saying he wanted the girl to see the world. "You're being rebellious," he wrote again, then sent a photo. "This place is amazing. Should I bring you here for our anniversary?" For a moment, I wanted to block him just like I had blocked Helen. But I thought of the paperwork still pending at the registry, and let it be. Over the next 2 weeks, I sold my jewelry and smaller handbags, went to the hospital for checkups, and confirmed I wasn't pregnant. Finally, I organized all the assets Justin had entrusted to me over the years. The night before going to the registry for the final certificate, Justin came home. He called me. "Selena, did you move out?" Chapter 6. He was already used to my silences on the phone, so he just laughed, as if amused. "Selena, you're too adorable. I told you all this is just an act. In fact," he said lightly, clearly in a good mood, "since we're acting, why not take it all the way? Come with me to the registry tomorrow to pick up the certificate." I held the phone in silence. "Selena, relax, it's just, all right," I interrupted. Oh, from the other end came laughter, teasing, and noise. I hung up and sent him the time on Instagram. The next morning, I got up early. Justin arrived late, probably because of Helen. He had a bite mark on his lip, not too deep but not faint either. He acted as if nothing had happened.
So did I.
The process was even quicker than the first time, not even 5 minutes. "Selena, I have a surprise for you tomorrow," Justin said, tapping my leg with his foot. I put away the divorce certificate. "Justin, are you free tonight?" I looked straight at him. "There's something I want to talk to you about." He paused for a moment. Since we got married, I had always called him husband. And in the next second, he smiled. His fox-like eyes curved with that unique charm of his, and he tapped the little red booklet in his hand. All right. Chapter 7. No matter what Justin had become over the past year, I didn't want to deny the Justin of the past. I was grateful for all the years he'd been by my side, for his care, his patience, his affection. That's why I never truly considered leaving without saying goodbye. But that night it rained. Thunder. Lightning. I've always feared nights like that. The accident happened in the same kind of storm. I endured the trembling in my body and waited for Justin. I even feared that when he appeared, all the walls I had built over the past month would collapse instantly, and I would throw myself into his arms, crying like before. But he never came. He called instead. When I answered, there was noise in the background, voices, laughter. Redemption? Nonsense. She was getting on my nerves. If it weren't for my mother, I wouldn't have bothered taking care of her. Do you know why we got married so quickly? Because she wouldn't let me touch her. I was curious if she goes mute when she's upset in bed. 2. Will she be able to moan there? Ha ha ha.
Boom.
The thunder seemed to split me apart inside. In that instant, I felt something shatter again, just like that day, just like the accident. I wanted to hide. I didn't want anyone to see me like this.
But where?
There was no safe place. Only rain. Only lightning. Only ridicule. And then the phone rang. "Alex." "Selena?" His voice, always so calm, so steady, as if it could quiet all the noise in the world. "Are you crying?" I wanted to say no, but I couldn't. The words wouldn't come, and my tears, as if answering for me, began to fall uncontrollably. "Wait there." His voice remained steady. "I'm coming to get you." Chapter 8. It turned out the second son of the Bai family was single again. A group of heirs organized a singles party at a KTV, drinking, laughing, indulging. One by one, they collapsed. No one knew what time it was when someone, half asleep, groped for their phone. "Hey, huge news!" The shout woke several instantly. "Do you know who just showed up in City H?" The golden heir of the Fu family himself. And he flew in on a private jet in the middle of the night. One half-asleep guest waved dismissively. "Nah, impossible. Didn't they say he was abroad for treatment? He hasn't been seen in 10 years. It's true, he's trending right now." They passed the phone from hand to hand. The room that had cooled down suddenly heated up again. "No way, and he's holding a girl?" "They say he came back just to take her abroad." "So urgent there wasn't even time for media control?" Let me see. Tisk, that girl, why does she look so familiar?" Justin. Someone nudged him. "Look closely. The girl in Alex's arms, doesn't she look like your wife?" Justin had actually been awake for a while, but he wasn't interested in the Fu family circus. "Impossible for her to be your sister-in-law," he muttered with disdain while picking up his phone. "Your sister-in-law wouldn't even dare leave City H. And now she's going abroad." But with just one glance at the photo, he froze. Torrential rain at the airport. Beneath a black umbrella, a tall, elegant man with a cold, chiseled face held a young woman, shielding her completely. And Justin knew Selena far too well, her figure, her hair.
No.
It couldn't be. Justin slammed the phone onto the table with a sharp crack. Selena with someone named Alex? That made no sense. She had invited him to her apartment that very night. Surely, after a month apart, she must have missed him. Justin lit a cigarette, took out his phone, and found Selena's contact. He was about to call when he noticed the time, 3 a.m. Bah, she was probably asleep. Then again, Selena always answered his calls, no matter the hour. He lit up the screen again, dialed. The number you have dialed does not exist. Chapter 9. Since that accident, I had never left City H. All forms of transportation terrified me, and the idea of going somewhere completely unfamiliar filled me with almost uncontrollable anxiety. I sat next to Alex, fidgeting with my fingers, nervous. He was so tall, even in the back seat, he towered over me. He had such a serious air about him. The driver tried making small talk, but Alex replied in short, clipped answers, barely changing his expression. He seemed like someone important. At H Airport, reporters had completely surrounded us, calling him Mr. Fu over and over. Had I been reckless? I didn't even know his name was Alex until after our first phone call. And this city in country F, it was a place I had never dared to imagine. Then he moved, pulling something from his pocket and holding it out to me. Want one? A candy, wrapped in paper decorated with pink bunnies. My mind flashed back to 2 years ago, when I would chat endlessly with her. Do you like candy? I found a delicious one, you have to try it. It's soft, chewy, with a peach aroma that makes you smile. If you give me an address, I'll send you a whole jar. She had replied with an address in English. That was the first time she had ever answered me. Suddenly, the barrier between us had crumbled. I had searched everywhere for those bunny-wrapped candies, guided only by her profile picture, just to cheer up that quiet, distant little sister. Want me to open it for you? He no longer seemed so inaccessible. His voice was warm, his eyes reflecting an unexpected tenderness. Before I could answer, he had already unwrapped it with a familiar ease. I took the candy and placed it in my mouth. That familiar taste spread across my tongue, and I felt my whole body finally relax. Chapter 10. I never thought I would actually stay in a place completely unfamiliar, far from everything I had once called home. Alex housed me in his apartment, but he seemed very busy and rarely came back. The first week, when I finally adjusted to the time difference, he sat down with me to talk. Seal, what kind of work would you like to do? The question caught me completely off guard. Justin had never allowed me to work. You get nervous and can't even speak properly. What could you possibly do working? Be good, stay home, take care of the plants. Do you need money or something? But Alex, with his coffee cup in hand, simply said, You haven't started learning the language yet, but there are many Chinese people in this country. You could give it a try. I looked down at my hands, my nails digging into my palms. Can I do it? He raised an eyebrow. How will you know if you don't try? And so I got a job teaching Chinese to a boy of Chinese descent. Just a regular private lesson, nothing special. But it made me happy. A happiness I hadn't felt in so long that I'd almost forgotten what it was like. I wanted to share it, to tell the few friends I had left that maybe I wasn't as useless as I'd been made to believe. I logged into Instagram and suddenly, messages began pouring in like snow. Selena, where are you? Justin is going crazy looking for you. Chapter 11. Justin is looking for me? That night I left with Alex, I wasn't exactly in the best state. So he handled everything. The documents and belongings that needed to be returned to Justin were sent directly to the old by family residence. The legal matters were handled by the lawyer we had already hired. Everything related to the divorce was in his hands too. As for the rest, the SIM card, the phone number, Alex canceled them immediately. If Justin had something to say, he'd have to go through the lawyer, not me. I was deleting the messages one by one when a voice call came in. I accidentally tapped the screen, and it answered. Selena, what the hell are you doing? Justin's voice exploded without restraint. Did someone steal your phone, or what? Can't you buy a new one? And if you have one, why haven't you called me? Don't you know my number by heart? I held the phone in silence. And where are you, huh? Why did you send all those things to the old house? Did you forget it's our anniversary? Justin. To my own surprise, I said his name with unexpected lightness. We're already divorced. I hung up before he could respond. Selena, how many times did I tell you it was all just an act? Didn't you get it? What's your new number?
Send it to me.
Add me back on Instagram. Do you really want to cut all contact? The messages kept coming, one after another. I tapped his profile blocked. I searched my contacts, Justin's friends. One by one blocked. All of them. Chapter 12. It seems that a new environment really does help in letting go of the past. On my way home, I bought a small cake. After all, Alex and I had been talking for more than 2 years. Once I got past the initial awkwardness, it felt familiar.
I even knew some of his habits.
Lately, he didn't seem as busy, coming back to the apartment more often. Carrying the cake, I thought, surely he'll come home today too. What I didn't expect was that he was already there. Just as I pulled out my keys, the door opened from the inside. Alex was dressed in a crisp white shirt, and in his arms was a small furry creature. A puppy. I was so surprised I almost dropped everything. I immediately reached out and took it. Is it yours? You never mentioned it. Or is it a friend's? It's so adorable. It's for you, Alex said, closing the door. I froze for a second. For me? Almost without thinking, I asked, can I keep it? Justin Bai had never let me have pets, said they shed hair and made the house smell. But Alex simply said, why wouldn't you? And in that instant, something soft exploded inside me, like tiny fireworks only I could see. I brought you a small cake, I said, holding it out to him. He took it with a faintest smile, while I ran to the sofa to play with the puppy. My first dog had been a birthday gift from my parents, with my brother joining them to pick it out. Back then the word problem didn't exist for me. That's why I always believed that where there's a puppy, there can't be sadness. I looked up and it seemed I wasn't the only one in a good mood. Alex was sitting beside me, wearing a faint smile, eating the cake quietly bite by bite. Little sister, you have cream on your cheek. I jumped up to look for tissues and then I realized. I was so relaxed that I had called him by the wrong name. Little sister? Alex's voice drew nearer, his breath too. Far too close. The puppy gave a small yelp and ran off. I looked up and saw only his perfect face in front of mine, and his hand firm at the back of my neck. All I could hear was my own heart pounding wildly. I tried to move back, but he didn't let me. And he kissed me firm, certain. Selena, don't you think you're forgetting something? My heart felt like it would burst, my face burning, my mind hazy. Then he kissed me again, this time soft, sweet, and his voice low, husky whispered, when are we getting married? Today or tomorrow? Chapter 13. I don't even know how it happened, but between kiss and kiss, I was left dazed. I thought, well, it's late, better tomorrow. And the next day, Alex really took me to City Hall. They say the mayor himself officiated. An elderly man who spoke rapidly in the local language. I just nodded and smiled. Then, with a gesture, he handed us the marriage certificate. I was a little nervous, but even more excited. Broken souls recognize each other, and deep down, I knew Alex wouldn't be a mistake. The only thing that soured the day was that somehow Justin managed to get my new number in F. He called from a local number. So, you really went to Country F. The moment I answered, he recognized my voice. Selena, look at you, learned how to throw tantrums, huh? A whole month wasn't enough for you. I took a deep breath to hold back the tide threatening to spill over. Justin, stay out of my life. Your life? What life do you even have? Don't think I don't know you went looking for that angel, right? That little girl who lives on candy? And you dared to drag her along with you? I had never hidden anything from Justin, not what I did, not who I spoke to. That's no longer your concern. I'm your damn husband. How is it not my concern? I'm warning you, you'd better come back or else. I hung up before he could finish. Then came the messages. You're not coming back? Perfect. Let's see how long your bravery lasts. Have the guts to stick with that little girl for the rest of your life. Chapter 14. I never imagined Justin could be so vile. But thinking about it, a man capable of cheating while married and calling his divorce an act, could he ever have been a good person? The truth is, I had been blinded by childhood memories. That very night, I received a flood of messages, almost all with the same imagia screenshot of Justin's profile. What happened between you and Justin? The image showed Justin holding Helen confidently. He'd made it official. I had no desire to explain anything. I simply posted a photo of our divorce certificate. And then my university classmates' group chat exploded. Oh my God, Selena, you finally woke up.
I always suspected that by Guy.
He never introduced you to his friends and never posted anything with you. Exactly, and he used your aphasia as an excuse for everything. He could talk fine with us, but all he had to do was mention something, and you'd go quiet. Turns out the signs were always there. I just hadn't wanted to see them. A few days later, another stir. Is he insane or what? Justin had sent them all the same messagia photo of an engagement ring and a screenshot of his conversation with Helen. I have a surprise for you in 3 days. Are you free? And then a message for me. Tell Selena that in 3 days it's my mother's birthday. If she doesn't come back, I'll find another daughter-in-law. I also thought he was out of his mind. Don't pay attention to him, I told them. But the truth was, I would be returning to City C. That night, Alex came back with 2 suitcases. We're going back for a while. I just stared at him, not knowing how to react. We need to authenticate our marriage certificate, he explained calmly, and I want to introduce you to my family and friends. Me? I almost asked again, that question so familiar to me. Can I do it? Just as my classmates had said, Justin had never taken me to public events, afraid I wouldn't speak, afraid I'd stutter, afraid I'd embarrass him. Selena. Alex stopped what he was doing, set down the documents, turned to me, cupped my face in his hand, and with his dark eyes locked on mine said, Selena, there is nothing you can't do. That sentence flowed through me like a gentle current from my heart to the last cell in my body. This is what it feels like, I thought. A healthy relationship. Chapter 15. Alex said we had to stop in City H first to take care of some matters. That worked for me, because I also wanted to meet with my lawyer. So, our first destination upon returning to City C was H. Very different from the downpour when I left. This time, stepping off the plane, the sun shone brightly. Alex, always so discreet, in dark sunglasses, took my hand, and we walked together through the VIP access. By now, I knew exactly who he was. 12 years ago, the battle for control of the Fu Group dominated headlines for months. No one imagined the winner would be the youngest era man who hadn't even finished university. Even less did they expect that, once in power, Alex would enforce a ruthless style full of unexpected strategies. In just 2 years, he doubled the size of the already massive Fu empire. I had heard his name before too, but I'd been so young, and he had been out of the country for so long, I barely remembered him. Fortunately, there were no journalists this time. We arrived at the hotel without issue. Alex went to the office while I took a nap. When I woke, I headed to the law firm. Miss Selena, your personal assets are being processed exactly as you instructed.
Here's some documents for you to sign.
This is the original contract for one of the properties sold. You can keep it. Everything is proceeding well with your individual assets, but the lawyer hesitated. There are still some properties listed as joint assets with Mr.
Bye.
According to the divorce agreement, they should be split equally. But Mr. Bai is refusing to cooperate. He claims that you are still married. I frowned. So, the lawyer asked, waiting for instructions. I nodded. Leave it to me. I pulled out my phone. Since blocking Justin, he hadn't stopped creating new accounts, one different every day, trying to contact me. I accepted one of them. Do you have time tonight? I want to talk. He didn't reply immediately, but I saw the familiar typing for a long while. Finally, his message came. Well, you finally decided to come back to City C? Chapter 16. What a shame. Tonight, the young master has to take Helen shopping. No time. I stared at the message on the screen and almost laughed. Refusing to cooperate on property division? It didn't matter, that's what judicial enforcement was for.
Easy.
But since I didn't plan to stay in City C for long, I preferred to settle it amicably. Maybe because I didn't respond, he sent another message. If you want to work things out, it's not impossible. Tomorrow is my mother's birthday. Come and apologize. He even attached the hotel location. Pathetic. I blocked him again, without a second thought. Right then, A message from Alex arrived. I sent you some dresses to choose from. Tomorrow, I want to introduce you to some friends. Friends of Alex? My heart skipped a beat, and in that instant, everything unpleasant Justin by had left in my mind vanished, as if it had never existed. I took a taxi back to the hotel. Chapter 17. Alex hadn't sent some dresses, there were full racks of them, along with shoes, jewelry, makeup artists. The entire room was filled. Seeing how seriously he took it, I decided not to treat it lightly either. I spent almost the whole night trying on outfits, eventually choosing a discreet, elegant, serene ensemble that made me look calm and gentle. Luckily, Alex didn't return that night. He hadn't been back in the country for 10 years, and this was his first personal visit to the H branch. One could imagine how busy he was. The next day, I slept until midday. When I woke, already dressed and made up, I received a message from Alex. I've sent the driver to pick you up. Just as I got into the car, a call came from an unknown number. I knew who it was. Justin. I hung up without hesitation. He called again. I hung up again, then blocked him. What I didn't expect was to find Justin outside the hotel. He was there, calling over and over, then angrily throwing his phone to the ground. I looked up. The hotel name was the same one he'd sent me the day before. Then the phone rang. It was Alex. Have you arrived? Should I come get you? His voice always calmed me. I looked at Justin's dark expression and replied, No need. I'll come up myself. He must have heard me because he turned around. His expression was hard to read, somewhere between surprise, euphoria, and restrained anger. He kicked aside the broken phone, his eyes slightly red. Selena. It was all he said. He bit his lip, looked away. Come on. Then, in a tone of triumph, he added, I knew you'd come. He walked ahead. It seemed the hotel was fully reserved. And then I understood who Alex's friends were. When Justin noticed I wasn't following, he slowed down. All right, I admit I was wrong, okay? You don't like Helen, fine, I won't see her anymore. Don't be so bitter. She never did anything to you. I took a deep breath, holding back my anger. We went up to the second floor. There I saw several familiar faces. Well, the sister-in-law finally came back. Good for Justin, such an obedient girl, and she decides to run off like a canary. What a joke. With so many guests today, and you bring her too? Aren't you worried that there are important people here? Justin silenced them with a glare. Leave. He moved closer to me. At least you dressed up. Good. Stay behind me. Whatever happens, don't speak, just smile. Understand? Here, I'll take you. He held out his hand. I stopped cold. Justin. I didn't come for you. He gave a short laugh. Come on, at this point, still pretending? If you didn't come for me, then for who? The doors to the main hall opened. And there was Alex. Though it wasn't his event, he occupied the main seat. To his left, Justin's mother. To his right, his elder brother. The rest stood or sat, drinking, murmuring, but all without exception formed a semicircle around Alex. See the one in the center? Justin whispered. It took my mother months to bring him here. His wife is coming today too. Behave yourself. If you embarrass the Bai family, my mother and brother won't forgive you. He tried to take my hand, but I brushed it away sharply. Selena. It wasn't a whisper. Several people turned to look. Alex, too, his gaze darkened. Justin, what is this commotion? Justin's mother scolded him, though her reproachful look was directed at me. His brother frowned, but quickly smiled toward Alex. Has Mrs. Fu arrived? I'll go greet her. Murmurs filled the air. Justin growled under his breath. I told you not to make a scene. Happy now? First time you're seeing the whole Bai family, and this is how you show up. Yes, 3 years of marriage, and this was my first time meeting them all. Seal. It was Alex.
Come.
Beside him, between him and Justin's mother, was an empty seat. Justin froze. So did his mother and brother. I walked forward without hesitation. Allow me to introduce her, Alex said, not raising his voice, yet everyone heard. Selena. He kissed the back of my hand. Then, looking at the rest, he said, My wife. Chapter 18. The banquet hall fell into absolute silence, as if everyone had forgotten how to breathe. Only Alex remained calm, as if born to command any room. Seal, would you like to say something? Alex's voice was calm. Every gaze in the room turned toward me. A cold sweat trickled down my back. I clenched my hands together, my heart pounding in my chest. Alex gently squeezed my fingers, looked into my eyes, and nodded slowly. There is nothing you can't do. I took a deep breath. And I addressed Justin's mother. I closed my fists tightly. Justin and I have been divorced for a long time. I don't know why he hasn't told you. Then I looked directly at him. Justin, I've never believed marriage or divorce is a game. Between you and me, there is no possibility left. Finally, I spoke to everyone present. I am now the legal wife of Alex. And from now on, I have no ties to the Bai family. Justin stared at our interlocked hands and stepped back twice, as if unable to believe it. Alex rose to his feet as well. He picked up a napkin from the table and, with perfect composure, wiped the spot where Justin had touched me. My wife likes peace and quiet, and I am very protective. From today, I don't want to see anyone, in any way, bother her again. Is that clear, Mrs.?
Bye.
She was frozen, then nodded over and over. Sorry for the trouble. Alex set the napkin back on the table and took me by the hand, leading me toward the exit. It wasn't until we reached the elevator that I felt my heart return to its place. My legs shook, and I almost collapsed. Alex wrapped his arm around my waist, holding me against the elevator wall. You moved heaven and earth, I murmured breathlessly, just to make sure Justin never bothers me again. He cupped my face in his hands. You look beautiful today. I didn't know if he meant my dress or my words. He leaned in and kissed me. Selena. Justin's voice came from outside the elevator. With everything we'd been talking about, we had forgotten to press the button. He had done it. The doors slid open. Alex pulled me into his arms, shielding me against his chest. His voice was icy. Do you have a problem? The elevator wall reflected my face, flushed from the kiss, and Justin's frozen, on the verge of despair. I quickly pressed the button for level -1. Just before the doors closed, Alex, with a cruel smile, took my chin and kissed me again deeper, firmer right in front of him. Chapter 19. Rumor had it Justin had been punished by his family. They took away his phone, his computer, every means of communication, and made him promise never to bother me again before letting him go. Alex and I returned to City A. Originally, we had planned to legalize our marriage certificate, but Alex, ever practical, said it was a hassle. So we went to the civil registry and got a new local one instead. I had already met his friends and family. And just as the rumors said, was the eldest son and the first grandson. His mother had died when he was young. His father died suddenly when he was 18. The uncles who had once tried to wrest control from him now treated me with respect and courtesy. His friends were polite, discreet, well-mannered. Well, except for one, probably his best friend, who laughed in front of everyone and called him a late-blooming virgin.
What?
Over 30 and still a virgin. And well, we had been married for 2 weeks, and the truth was Alex hadn't touched me. So could it be that he didn't know how? Or was he afraid I'd find out he didn't? That night, the atmosphere turned a little strange. Part of me wanted to get closer. Part of me preferred to stay still. What if it wasn't ignorance but disinterest? No, probably not. When he kissed me, I felt it. He was just like that, always busy, contained, hard to reach. Maybe that was his pace. And even if it wasn't, we were already married. I wouldn't judge him for it. What are you thinking about? Alex suddenly turned and pulled me into his chest. I quickly shook my head. He nodded and kissed me. Lately, he'd been kissing me more. And his kisses lasted longer. I just wanted to give you time to accept me. Beneath the sheets, the heat began to rise. In the darkness, his breathing turned uneven, his voice low and hoarse. The pounding in my chest was so strong I couldn't finish my sentence. Then I thought of the puppy, sleeping peacefully at the foot of the bed. Alex had made sure to bring him back with us. He hadn't forgotten. The lavender sheets. The tulips in the garden. Every word I'd ever told him remembered. I like you a lot, Alex. I said it softly, then leaned in and kissed him. Alex tensed, then took control. And after that, the night was long, the spring short. No one slept. Chapter 20. But not everything goes as you want. At that birthday party, there had been too many people, and as expected, the rumors didn't take long to spread. Beneath every video of Alex in interviews, the comments repeated, "Typical cold, handsome CEO. All facade on the outside, trash on the inside. Even with his wife, he's married? What happened to his wife?"
Sure.
Keyword, stolen girlfriend. Alex didn't care. The more you try to silence something, the more it grows. But for me, it was like a thorn stuck deep. That night, Alex worked late again. Only 3 days left before returning to F. I was packing when suddenly I heard a commotion outside in the courtyard. My wife and I were childhood friends. 20 years together, how can it end like this? Look at this photo, yes, the one from the airport with Alex. The one that disappeared from the internet the next day. Do you think my wife is conscious in that photo? Alex dressed as a girl 3 years ago. He tricked her. He has perversions. He's sick. A buzzing filled my ears, blood rushing to my head in a surge. It was Justin by with a group of influencers and cameras right at our doorstep. The Fu family thinks they own the world. Not today. Today, everyone will say I'm going to see my wife. I grabbed the printed documents and rushed down the stairs. I had forgotten I'd sent the household staff out shopping. I was alone. I also forgot how post-accident interviews had left me with lingering effects facing cameras. My voice would always fail. But when you want to protect something, you draw strength from where you didn't know you had it. I flung the main door open. "Selena," Justin smiled broadly. But he didn't get another word out.
Slap.
"Who gave you the confidence to think I'd never leave you?" Slap. "And who gave you the audacity to slander, lie, and smear others?" Slap. I threw the printed chats in his face. "Read them carefully. And don't you dare stain the idea of childhood love ever again." Finally, I threw a recorder at his chest. Inside, the recording played the call from the night I left. His voice. Redemption? Pure bullshit. I was sick of her. If it weren't for my mother, I wouldn't have put up with her. Marry her? Guess why Justin's face went pale. He hurriedly hit pause. Chapter 21. But what Justin had stirred up wasn't so easily put out. The live stream was cut, and every clip was wiped from the internet. What did start to circulate, however, were the old messages Helen had sent me years ago, screenshots of her conversations with Justin. People online couldn't believe the level of shamelessness. Soon, Helen, who had always kept a low profile, was completely exposed. It came to light that she lived in the mansion Justin bought her, wore the luxury clothes he gifted her, and pretended to be a millionaire heiress all while flirting with other rich heirs. Alex, who had always been a businessman, had never attacked the Bai family directly. But after this, he severed all ties between the Fu group and the Bai family. A couple of days later, I received a call from Justin's mother. "We couldn't control Justin. I'm sorry, Selena. Could you consider for all these years, Aunt?" I interrupted. "It's true you cared for me for a long time. But I also followed every piece of your advice and slowly handed over my parents' business to the Bai family. I've never owed you anything." Alex and I stuck to our original plan, returning to F. The day we left, it rained. At security, a commotion broke out. Justin somehow had slipped through. He was drenched, covered in mud, unrecognizable. "Selena. Selena." He clung to my suitcase. The floor was slippery. He fell right in front of me. "Selena, please don't go. Please." Chapter 22. Alex's expression was one of absolute disdain. He glanced at his watch and signaled to a few men nearby. Within seconds, the people trying to pull out their phones to record were removed. Justin kept clutching my suitcase tightly. "Selena, please listen to me. There were so many misunderstandings between us. That call, it was Helen, not me. I didn't know anything. I was drunk, I said nonsense. I never found you annoying. I married you because I truly liked you. What I told Helen was a moment of madness. It was her fault, she seduced me. I never really wanted to divorce you. Didn't I tell you I had a surprise for you? I was going to propose to you again the next day. Selena, it was all a mistake, a misunderstanding. That night I was going to go to your apartment too, but Mario insisted we go drinking." "Oh, of course, always someone else's fault." I looked down. His tears streamed down his face. "And the condoms? Did someone shove those into your pocket by force too? And the bed? Were you pushed into it? And all those words you said to humiliate me, was it a spirit that took over your voice? I spoke without hesitation. Not a pause, not a doubt. Justin, the truth is you were convinced I would never leave you. That's why you thought you had the right to ignore me, mock me, belittle me. Making me feel small was your only way to feel important in your miserable life, wasn't it? The Bai family has 2 sons. The elder runs the business. The younger lives off the scraps, whether because he won't or because he can't. His only glory in life was being the center of a girl who loved him with all her heart, who trusted him, who depended on him. I pulled my suitcase free. Don't make what we had end in such a pathetic way. Justin trembled and let go. Selena, please, one more chance. This time he reached for my hand. I jerked it away. Disgusting. He fell silent. I took my suitcase, turned, and saw Alex waiting just a few steps away. I took his arm naturally, and behind meth sound of Justin, crying like a child. Chapter 23. A long, long time passed, and I never saw Justin again. Only occasionally would my old classmates tell me gossip about him or about Helen. Helen's situation became a scandal. Several rich heirs, including Justin, sued her. She was expelled and couldn't graduate. Whether the trial reached a verdict, no one knows. Justin Bai was kicked out of the Bai family, maybe to curry favor with Alex, or perhaps Mrs. Bai ran into business trouble and needed a scapegoat. All his cards were cancelled. All his properties taken.
He had to find a job.
The same second son who once bought haute couture without checking the price now hesitated before paying for a bottle of wine. Some claimed to have seen him fighting with Helen in the street. 2 broken people. No matter how much they screamed at each other, no one cared. My job was thriving. From 1 student to 2, from 2 to 4, until I had a whole group of children. My language learning also progressed. Sometimes the 15 verb tenses made me see double, but I could now converse fluently. For our first New Year in Country F, Alex took me skiing. I screamed at the top of my lungs, racing down the Alps. That night, we lay in a mountain hotel counting stars. Each star, I thought, was someone who had loved us once. Alex, when will you tell me the story of Angel? That very night, Alex took me back. Home. To City A. To that old house that had been closed for years. Inside, there was a room whose walls were covered in pink bunnies. Chapter 24. Alex had a younger sister 10 years younger than him. She loved rabbits, and when she grew a little older, she became obsessed with pink bunnies. She used to say she came from Planet Rabbit, sent to save the world. But luck was not on her side. Her mother died giving birth to her, and her father passed away when she was just 8 years old. She witnessed her brother fighting against greedy uncles, battling for everything. He was always exhausted, and she thought she had to save the world so she would never be a burden to her brother. When the maids mistreated her, she didn't say a word. When classmates mocked her for her selective mutism, she would only smile at Alex. The one with aphasia wasn't Alex, it was her. To hide it, she wrote him notes. Brother, school is more fun. I'm staying here this summer. Take care of yourself, okay? Brother, I made a new friend today. A happy day. Brother, I made mini cakes. They're in the fridge. Don't forget to try them. But the last note she left said, Brother, the earth hurts too much. I'm going back to my Planet Rabbit. Don't worry, I'll come visit you often. Alex had been far too busy school, the company, everything was a war. And when the war was over, all that awaited him was a lifeless body at the bottom of the lake. She had tried to save herself. She joined support groups for depression, for mutism. Many people added her. But they were broken souls. How could they help others? After 2 or 3 days, they would disappear. Until many years later, I tapped on that profile with a pink bunny and sent a request. Sister, add me, okay? Are you busy? It's sunny today. Will I be lucky enough for you to accept me? Alex said I talked too much. But he had spent years holding on to his sister's chat, hoping that one day she would come back.
She didn't.
But a loud, older sister appeared instead. And he accepted the request. He read me, day after day, as I endlessly shared every trivial detail. And he thought if she had met you 10 years earlier, would the ending have been different? Maybe you were the gift his sister left him. He had been alone too long, far from home, carrying a silent guilt. Redeeming himself. Your voice on his phone was his only color. But then you were another man's wife. Now you are my wife. Alex looked at the brightest star beside the moon. Tell me, do you think you were a gift she sent me? Do you think she's already forgiven me? She never blamed you. I kissed the tear forming at the corner of his eye. She was an angel. One who came to save the world. She saved you. And she saved me too. Alex held me tightly. Selena, I love you. I love you so much. The greatest joy in life is to love and have that love fall perfectly into the palm of your hand.